Greetings, Cap fans, and welcome to episode 301 of the Captain America Comic Book Fans Podcast. This is Rick Verbonis. You know me, I am your host, and I got a co host. You know him. His name is Bob Lucius. Oh, Bob. The streets are lined with camera crews. Everywhere he goes is news. Today is different. Today is not the same. Today I make the action. Take snapshot into the light. Snapshot into the light. I'm shooting into the light.
Oh, that sounds like it could be like an 80s song, but I don't know. I don't know what it is, Rick. I'm
Well,
tormented.
Bob, the person in this song is tormented. It's it's called Family Snapshot
Uh-huh.
by Peter Gabriel, and you're
Uh-huh.
right. It was 1980. It
Okay.
came out in the album called Melt, which was um, kind of like after he had left Genesis. This was one
Yeah.
of the ones that he
Yeah.
did, um, and the song
Yeah.
um, explores the psychology. I think you would get into this,
Uh-huh.
okay, because it explores the psychology of a political assassin who is inspired by Arthur Bremer's An Assassin's Diary.
Okay. Why do you I, why do you think I would get into that, Rick? What are you
Because
trying to
it's
say?
I nothing to do with assassination.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, but just I think the story behind it I think would
Yeah.
interest you because
Interesting.
it's
Yeah.
based on about a famous political figure
Okay.
that and this was an assassination attempt on that.
Oh, interesting. I am interested in that. I'm just
Yeah,
playing along.
Bob, why am I greeting you with an assassination song by Peter Gabriel?
Well, I think it has to do with Snapshot,
It
right?
does.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are covering today Marvel Snapshot Captain America. This
Mm-hmm.
is a one shot. Came out in 2020, June. It had a release date of June 24th,
June. All right.
2020. Back then, good times.
Good times. Good
Good
times.
times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, but yeah, Marvel did these series of snapshots. They had a Captain Marvel, they had Avengers, they had a Spider-Man, Submariner, Civil War, Fantastic Four, X-Men.
Yeah.
They had all of these, and they
Yeah.
were all just these individual one-shots that were kind of based around a story from these characters' past.
Yeah.
And you had the brilliant idea of post doing the Jack Kirby MadBomb story. Rick, why don't we do this one shot about MadBomb?
Yeah. Well, Rick, as they say, a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and again. So
That's true.
thanks for the shout out. But yeah, it did seem like the natural, next step after the conclusion of the long tail to do this story because it does involve the Mad Bomb.
Yeah, it
So
really does. And it's a good story, too.
yeah.
I remember reading this maybe right after it came out, and I haven't touched it since. So good call by you. But Bob, we haven't you and I haven't talked in a few weeks because of vacations and things like that.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
I know listeners are like, "What? We just had an episode last week." Well, that's because we like to work ahead.
It's the
There
magic of the industry.
the vacation I actually had gone down to the Jersey Shore. I had rented a house with my family and I had some friends and I was there and I brought my computer, I brought my
Yeah.
microphone, I brought everything
Yeah.
because I wanted to make sure our listeners didn't miss an episode. And we recorded on a Tuesday night, a
Yeah.
Wednesday night, and a Thursday night.
We did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a hectic recording schedule to try to knock those out. But I mean, and did you run into the situation down there?
I did not.
No.
No,
I'm really
but
hoping.
a good friend of mine who came and spent the last couple of nights I was there, his uh, adult daughter kept asking if we were going to go to Snooky's place. Because
Syracuse, right?
she's from Delaware, so
Yeah,
she just thinks Jersey Shore, right?
right.
Yeah,
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 I'm a little bit ashamed to admit that Casey being my wife, for those who don't know, we watched a few episodes of Jersey
Did
Shore.
you?
Oh,
Oh wow.
yeah. Back in the day.
Was it a guilty pleasure?
It was a guilty pleasure. Those kids were whack,
I
but
did not.
a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so we had a good time. It was a good time off. But you just came back. You and Casey, and Bobby, you guys just came back from an amazing vacation.
Well, yeah, Casey and I did. We kicked the kid out,
Oh, you did?
to the
Well, that's why he wasn't in
grandparents.
any of the
Yeah,
pictures.
no, we're like, oh no, no. After we took him on a trip a couple of years ago, we're like, nah, he's not going on this one. So
Good for
he
you.
stayed with the grandparents for a week and mooched off them, and we went by ourselves to Switzerland. Yeah, to do some hiking through the Alps, and
Mm-hmm.
it was great. It's my wife's it was my wife's birthday wish to do this, and so why not? So we did it, and we had just a grand time. So
Fantastic. I
yeah.
Casey and you had shared some pictures and videos on Facebook, and there's this one that I knew exactly what was going to happen before it happened. I see you
Yeah,
uh, standing right at the place where there's like all these mountains and a valley,
yeah.
and you're standing and you're looking down the valley of these beautiful mountains, and I'm like, he's gonna do the Ricola.
Right. I just couldn't help myself. It's all I wanted out of this vacation, quite honestly, was to do the Ricola,
Yeah,
you
and
know.
how and
So
can you for our listeners, can you maybe give a hint of what that sounded like?
yeah, yeah. Ricola just resonated. It resonates different in the mountains and valleys, Rick. It really
Uh,
does, you know. And all the
Beautiful.
marmots and sheep looked up, and so yeah,
I wouldn't have missed the opportunity either. Good for you.
yeah. You gotta take that shot when you get
How
it.
were the people there? Did they like you? Or
Yeah.
were they
No,
nice to you guys?
yeah, they were friendly. Although we did have this, we stayed at a family run chalet, like a hotel,
Mm-hmm.
but only, I don't know how many, small, small. And we had the same Swiss woman every morning, at the breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And we told her, she asked, what are you doing today? We're like, well, we're going to go up to this one village in Wengen. It's up in the mountains. And then from there, we're going to hike up to another village. And we're going to do this. And the way you get to Wengen is you take a train, and the train station was right across from the hotel. So very convenient. Get on the train. It's like, I don't know, 25-minute train ride up to the mountain village. She's like, oh, don't do that. She's like, it's very easy. You just walk up to the village. There's a trail. And she's like, I do it every day. She's like, in fact, I work in the morning. I work dinner, and I sometimes I walk up there and, take my, get cleaned up and then come back. And you're like, and Casey was like, and it's not difficult. And she's like, no, no, just pace yourself. It's fine. So we're like, okay, well, there's no reason to take the train.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like like a serpentine uh trail at like a incline up the mountain. And we're just cursing her the whole time we're doing it, right? And then we come back the next day and we see her, and then we didn't let on that. Oh yeah, yeah, it was, you're right. Just pace yourself. It's fine. And then we find out that yeah, she does that every day, but she's also been training for like this 250-kilometer 5-day mountain race
Mm-hmm.
that she has been training for like a year. That's coming up in like September. And no kidding, it wasn't hard for her,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, she does it every day as part of her training. Just pace yourself, right? So, but we did that. It was
Uh-huh.
extremely difficult. And
And it did so she spoke English.
well, and everybody spoke, but the beauty of the place, Rick, is if you just listen, in this quiet moments when you hear people talking around you in the restaurant or at the village shop or on the village square or on the trails, everybody sounded like Batroc the Leaper. It was, I was like, this is amazing. Like I could live here, right?
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Is it John Sewell's
It
version?
is. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, it is outrageous.
Yeah, there were some times when I'd be like, okay, okay, I'm helping my helping my, we're coming down a mountain trail, and there's a
Uh-huh.
little bit of a, the shall I say leap, from one level to the next, and I'd reach out for my wife, and I would say, leap, 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 and she had no idea what was going
Of
on, of
course not,
course.
because she doesn't listen to the show.
She never, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
no, yeah,
So
totally get it.
that was very cool.
Yeah,
Glad we had a chance to do it.
very cool. Well,
And the thing is, I barely just missed Mark Domeyer, one of our esteemed listeners, and
well, he was in the UK seeing Tom Boyd.
he did see Tom, and
Oi!
then yeah, that's right. Then he spent some time. He spent some time in Switzerland. So
Did he
I think
now?
we were like two ships passing in the night. Yeah, he was on
Oh,
a high school trip, and chaperoning, and they went to several places, Switzerland being one of those. I was really hoping we'd have the opportunity to connect there, but I'm glad he had a chance to link up with Tom.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and also he, because he was on vacation, he missed being in the community theater that which was out last week.
Yes, as did I.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to schedule better next time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'm not going on any vacations for a while.
All right.
That one hit the pocketbook.
I think it was Jason Olson who brought up, Rick, every year it's going to be because we've been doing it. We did it episode 200,
Yeah,
250, 300.
yeah.
And he's like, every year it's going to be, we're going to record this 2 weeks earlier. And at some point, we're going to be recording this like in January for like episode 1000 or something.
Right.
And I was like,
So,
shut your mouth. we are not, we are not. If I'm still doing this, well, hopefully I'm still doing this. Hopefully
yeah.
you're still doing this.
Right. Wow.
But in any case, Bob, I have a little bit of I wouldn't say a nit to pick,
Oh.
but I got a little annoyed
Mm,
recently
okay.
on another Facebook group because it came up. There was a comic book retailer who got screwed over by a customer
Okay.
because and for those listeners who aren't aware, I used to own a comic book store for several years in Atlanta, and I can totally relate to this retailer. And essentially, what happened was a customer wanted to get a couple of different variants of a
Mm,
particular comic. Now, these
sure.
variants are like 1 in 25 variant or a 1 in 50 variant, right?
Yeah.
So, what
Okay.
does that mean for the retailer? Well, the retailer means he has to order 25 copies of this to get this one variant. So,
Yeah.
therefore, it's a more expensive comic, right? Like you're
Yeah.
going to charge more
Yeah.
for
It is
that.
a premium.
Yeah, same thing for 50, right?
Yeah.
In this particular example. Now, um, for those who don't know, uh, when you own a comic book store, um, they are not returnable. Anything that you purchase from the publisher, you keep.
Hmm.
So you have to kind of plan this out, right? Like if I'm going to order 25 copies of this, how many of those copies can I sell? All right, I can.
Reasonably right.
All
Yeah.
right, maybe only like in this particular thing, it was an obscure title. It wasn't like a major Marvel or DC. It was a kind of like
Yeah.
an obscure
Hmm.
independent.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, well then I'm pretty much going to get stuck with these comics. So I have to make sure I charge enough for this and that. So this customer who had been doing business in the store previously went ahead and said, "Yeah, place the order. I'm good for it. Whatever." Then the customer basically says, "Oh, I can find these variants cheaper somewhere else, so I'm going to
Oh,
cancel my order." Now,
ouch.
this is after the
Yeah.
retailer placed the order and all after the final order cutoff.
Right.
So this is up there, and people are kind of commenting on it. And there's this one particular guy, and he was like, "I don't understand. Could someone explain to me, like, was this explained to the customer about final order cutoff, or because um like we shouldn't have to know the retailer's business workings, like, like if we're not explaining, like, whatever."
Yeah.
And my response to this was, well, it you don't have to know. the background. The bottom line is, if you commit to something,
Yeah.
you're obligated.
Yeah.
And he went on this long thing about, no, you're not obligated. If someone didn't pay a deposit or pay in advance, then they're not obligated. I'm like, really? Like,
It's
I
Rick.
kind of think you are, because you
There's
said you were going to buy it.
there's two kinds of people in the world, Rick. There are those who, I'm legally obligated because I signed a contract, and then there's sort of the ethical and moral obligation of,
Right.
you've made a commitment. Whether it's a verbal commitment or otherwise, you've made a commitment. Just follow through on the commitment. It's
Yeah.
integrity, Rick.
It's integrity, 100%. And,
Yeah.
and at this point, this guy was trying to explain why in today's economy it's okay to screw people over like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, we just don't need to continue
Yeah,
the
you're just not
conversation.
gonna. You're just
Yeah,
not
we're
gonna.
not we're not having this conversation.
You're just talking past each other, right? Because
Yeah.
there's just different value systems that are at play.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, would you go into a restaurant
Yeah.
and say, order a very expensive meal?
Yeah.
And you sit there and they're preparing the meal. And right before the meal is delivered, you're like, you know what? I'm going to leave and not pay the bill.
Yeah. I found
Well,
I was
because
surfing the web. I found a different restaurant. It's
yeah,
cheaper. Yeah.
right. I mean, I didn't eat the meal, so
Yeah.
therefore, it's okay. Like oh, okay. So all the ingredients and all the prep and all the cooking and
Yeah.
everything they did, now they have to throw this meal away because no one else has ordered it, and they have to eat the cost of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay with you? I mean, like,
Yeah.
who thinks like that?
Sure. And what it does is it just creates conditions that make it more challenging for other comic readers,
Exactly.
right? Because now this guy, like the retailers, like, well, if somebody comes in and says, I want this variant or I want this, or, now I got to make them sign a contract. Now I got to take a deposit because
Right.
I got screwed over and I can't trust anyone now. So, it just erodes that trust.
It
That
does.
is what makes this hobby like fun.
Yeah.
And it becomes a business as opposed to a bunch of people who enjoy the art and the genre. And,
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thought the guy shared was, well, um, one variant cover not being ordered shouldn't make a difference to hurt this guy's business. I'm like, that's not the point.
that
And by
isn't
the
the
way, it
point.
does.
Yeah.
If you saw the profit margins that comic shop make,
Right.
you would know that actually this does, but whatever. I just know that none of our listeners who are Captain America fans, because they understand the whole thing, what would Cap do? They would never do that.
Cap would never do that. Cap would never give his word, make a commitment, and then not follow through, even if it became
Exactly.
difficult or costly or required some sacrifice.
Bob, let's get to today's comic.
Yes.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel, maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
Close your eyes, exhale, feel your body relax, and let go of whatever you're carrying today.
Well, I'm letting go of the worry that I wouldn't get my new contacts in time for this class. I got them delivered free from 1-800-CONTACTS. Oh my gosh, they're so fast.
And breathe.
Oh, sorry. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw the discount they gave me on my first order. Oh, sorry. Namaste.
Visit 1-800-CONTACTS.com today to save on your first order.
1-800-CONTACTS.
All right. Marvel's Snapshots Captain America, #1. As I mentioned, it came out in the summer of 2020. Do you want to take the listeners through the cover?
Yeah. Well, it is a gorgeous cover, and this is cover A that we're talking about here. There were, I think, a couple of variants, including maybe a Kirby variant, some old art, but this one is an Alex Ross cover, and it's gorgeous, Rick. If I may say, it's got that Alex Ross Captain America that we all know and love. And basically, you've got a close up of him, and he's got a look of determination on his face, and his left hand is pulled back and cocked and ready to throw a punch. And you got that shield on his right arm right there in front of him, and it's just glistening. In the sunlight. So it is an amazing painted cover.
It really is. I mean, you've got all the detail into the uniform and the mask. Like that leather mask is kind of wrinkled, and
Yeah, yeah.
and then love the expression on his eyes. But he even has a 5 o'clock shadow, Bob.
He does. He does. Yeah.
You don't
It's
see that very often.
late in the afternoon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the creators for this, so the writer is Mark Russell, penciler Ramon Perez, and he's also inked this, and then colorist Rico Renzi, letterer Joe Sabino, and editor Darren Shan, Lauren Amaro, and Tom Brevoort. I gotta tell you, no offense to Ramon, but when I saw on here Perez on the cover of who the second name, which is typically the artist, I was like, George Perez did this, and I kind of got excited, and then I opened it up, and it's not George Perez,
It is not George Perez. Yeah.
or George Perez as it's
Yeah.
pronounced, but Ramon Perez, do you recognize that?
I don't. I don't.
You should, because he was the artist for Captain America and the First 13.
Oh my gosh. I should recognize him. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah, we covered that way back in episode 198, which came out almost 2 years to the day of when we covered this. So yeah, that's the artist. If you want to check that out, episode 198, it's a cool one shot taking about Captain America and Peggy Carter back in World War II.
You know, I love a good World War II story, Rick.
You do, Bob. You do. All right. Let us get to. Oh, do you want to hear the solicitation?
Yeah, I'd love to, actually.
Okay. So in Marvel's catalog, it says acclaimed writer Mark Russell, Second Coming and Wonder Twins, and artist Ramon Perez take us to Kirbytown for a literally explosive story of the madness-inducing MadBomb and its aftermath as the Marvel Snapshot tour through Marvel history continues. A gifted South Bronx teenager sees his neighborhood destroyed in the initial MadBomb attack and his future up in smoke with it. What does he do when A.I.M recruiters come calling? Does he stand by a system that's failed him or find a future outside the law? Featuring Captain America, the Falcon, Iron Man, and more.
Ooh, that does sound fun.
All right, so we open up to the opening page, and it is a panel page, not a splash. That tells you right now there's a lot of story going on.
That's right. Yeah.
And we are seeing it almost looks like an aftermath of the MadBomb, but it's not.
It's not.
It's just the projects.
Yeah.
And some bad streets. We see some dilapidated buildings. We see some cars that are really in bad shape, and we see some gang members. It almost looks like, or at the very least, some young punks on the corner of the street here, and they're outside. Everybody in New York remembers where they were when it happened. As usual, I was working in my father's store in the South Bronx. And one of the gang members outside, guided counselor, asked me what my strengths were. I said biceps.
It's a good one.
And inside the store, what's the name of the store, Bob?
Oh my gosh, what is the name of the store? What? I don't know. Can't read
It's
it. Right?
Waterhouse
Waterhouse.
Electrics.
Well, makes sense.
Or electronics? Probably electronics. And there's an old lady sitting in a chair, in a wheelchair actually. And inside the store is a young African American male, look, teenager, late teens,
yeah, high schooler.
Mm-hmm. And he inside the room is a whole bunch of like TVs that are on shelves, and basically it's like a place where you take a broken TV or a broken stereo or whatever.
Secondhand place. Yeah. And these aren't flat screens, Rick. These aren't flat screen TVs. These are, I think we're talking, 1970s era here. So
that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Big old tube TVs.
Oh my, what is that thing? And the young man is holding a fairly large clicker in his hand. It's a wireless remote control, a little something I made right here in the shop. Now, you don't have to keep going over to change the channel. Oh, what am I? The Queen of France? I sure will miss you when you go to college, Felix. Theoretically, you can control any electrical appliance with one of these. And then in the background, we see an older man who is pushing a very small grocery cart with groceries, and he's in the street and he collapses. We were far enough from the blast that we didn't even hear it. We were far enough from everything that we never heard it until it hit us. And one of the punks on the corner, he actually goes over to the old man on the ground. He asks him if he's okay. And the old man, he looks up at the kid, and he's got like red in his eyes, and he starts to growl. Rawr! And we turn the page, and remember I said there wasn't a splash on the opening? Well, they're saving it for page 2 and 3, a double page splash. Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing.
What's going on, Bob?
Yeah, well, it's a double page splash of a downtown street. And you got all the billboards up in the background, but in the foreground, what you see is you see cars running into each other. You see people fighting and hitting each other. You see, blood and gore as people not only are fighting each other, but are murdering each other in the streets. And of course, you see in the middle of all this action, Captain America and Falcon.
Yeah, and it almost looks like it's Madison Square Garden.
Yeah,
not Madison. Or the
the main street there. Yeah,
yeah, because you see all the different ads up on the of course they don't, the Coca-Cola is not paying them, so it's a Coco Coupe. But you see right above that, it's Thor Suave.
Yeah,
which is like some sort of cologne, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. And then a couple other ads. Looks like Annie the musical.
Annie the musical. Yeah, that was big in the 70s.
And Falcon is flying around, and Cap's down there taking on the mob that's going around. And people, it's gruesome, Bob. It's gruesome. They called it the MadBomb. Its epicenter, is with all things, was Manhattan. Everyone caught in the blast wave of the MadBomb was instantly taken over by an insatiable, violent rage. And the Falcon's swooping by. What's going on, Cap? I don't know. Well, almost everyone. The MadBomb incident lasted less than 2 minutes. But that was long enough to kill thousands, to paralyze an entire city, to peel back the fiction we call civilization. The South Bronx was on the edge of the blast wave, so it only affected half our neighborhood, which, in a way, made it worse. And during all this, we see this version of what happened in, I think it was Captain America 193?
193, yeah.
The first part of MadBomb?
That first MadBomb attack.
Yeah. And, Cap is there, and he has found the little MadBomb. I guess it was the Peanut, maybe?
The Peanut, yeah.
And he goes into the alley to destroy that, and he's fighting the mob as he's going. There's a police officer there, and he's about to put the gun in his mouth and commit suicide, like, because he's being, his mind is going mad. But Falcon comes and knocks it away. Get that out of your mouth. And Cap's like, I got it. I've got it. And he destroys it with his shield. But then we cut to back at the electronics place, and we see Felix's dad come in, and he's got a ripped shirt. He does not look in a good situation. Dad? Something's happening out there. Quick, lock the back. Because we were aware of what was happening to us. We could see the madness as it overtook our neighbors, our families, our children. They set us against each other and gave us no choice but to fight ourselves. And at this point, we see Felix's mom and baby brother. Lunch is ready in a minute, baby. And the little brother is playing with a dinosaur, but then the madness overtakes him and he starts to attack his mom. And she's cooking in the kitchen, so she's got a sharp knife in her hand, and as the toddler attacks her, she goes crazy. Jerome, what are you? My mother watched her own hand sink the knife into him, helpless as she succumbed to the madness. And when it was over, she was there, cradling her little boy. What have I? My baby! My brother was a casualty in this war of madness, as were we all. They forced us to kill one another in a desperate contest to live. It made us ashamed of our own survival. One thing I could not understand at the time, perhaps I still don't, who stood to benefit from such destruction? And in the aftermath, Cap and Falcon are helping up people. You okay, officer? What happened? It appears to be some sort of psychotropic bomb. Do you think there are more of them out there? And the Falcon replies, Man, when was the last time you heard of there being just one of anything? For a moment, the MadBomb had leveled us all, hero and citizen alike. No one stands taller than anyone else when you've all been knocked to the floor. Help! Please help! We better find out who was behind this, Falcon, and fast. This city's going to have a hell of a time rebuilding. And the city did rebuild. Our heroes went back to protecting us. In Manhattan, in Queens, even out in Long Island. Cap and the Falcon even chased off to hell to hunt the MadBombers. Some sort of secret wannabe empire. But here, in the South Bronx, no one came. In fact, things got worse. The neighborhood had been devastated by the attack. Businesses pulled out, taking jobs with them. Landlords took advantage of the chaos to cash out. For the cost of a bucket of gasoline, they could get an insurance check and gracefully leave. Power outages were a regular occurrence. In their desperation, people took to looting. The city had deserted us. People joined gangs, either to find protection or to exploit its absence. Sometimes the police would come, but in most neighborhoods, the police came to keep the peace. Here, they came to keep the war. We had nothing, and less every day. I'd always dreamed of going to college, the first person in my family to do so. And during all this, we see what he's talking about. We see the looting. We see the gangs. We see the police in riot gear. And we see Felix very dutifully going back into the electronics place to do his work. Good thing our shop is full of broken TVs, huh, Dad? I mean, who'd loot us? Son, I need to talk to you for a minute. I always imagined the college that was a place where you went to find who you were meant to be. The place where they found the best things about you and amplified them. But the thing about dreams is they only make sense while you're sleeping. We see Felix talking to a customer here. And how would you describe this customer, Bob?
Well, he's a tall white man in a business suit with nicely coiffed hair. Yeah, so he looks like a guy who's got some money in his pocket.
It has twice the power of any amplifier on the market. This is excellent work, son. Twice as loud as anything you got at home. And then the dad is talking to Felix. The hospital bills, a slowdown in business since that MadBomb. There just isn't the money to send you to college anymore. I understand. I'm sorry, son. Poverty isn't just being poor. It's the knowledge that you're missing out on life and the feeling that you're to blame for it. I was disappointed, but after a while, I adjusted to the new reality. I mean, what other choice do you have? And then we see that guy you were talking about, Bob. He
Yeah.
comes back into the store. Look at this cat. A banker? Nah, landlord. He looks like the guy who owned my grandma's block before it burned down. Hey, man, try not to burn anything down in there. Felix Waterhouse. Can I help you? Why, yes. That's precisely the idea. I'm Harold Bainbridge, and I want you. And he hands him a business card. What's it say, Bob?
The card says Advanced Ideas Mechanics, Harold Bainbridge, VP of Human Services.
A.I.M.
A.I.M.
Those are guys with the yellow suits and the beehive hats, right?
Those are the ones indeed, yes.
Didn't they create the
Cosmic
Cube?
They did, yes.
And MODOK?
Lots of great stuff.
They're bad news guys.
They are leaders in technology, Rick.
We're always on the lookout for new talent. And not to sound creepy, but we've been watching you for a while now. I believe you're advanced idea mechanics material, son. We'd be talking a summer internship to start. I don't know. A.I.M offers full medical and dental, weekends in Boca Caliente. And the best part, we'll pay you to go to college. But, I mean, aren't you part of Hydra? Oh, that was never proven in court. We're a research organization. And sure, you can argue that every research dollar in history was given out by some criminal empire, but empires crumble and fade away in the end. All that's left is the science. That's just how the future is built, son. On the ashes of those who paid for it. Days went by, but I never called. It was just too hard for me to believe in what he was selling. There comes a point when you're so used to not having opportunities, you simply stop believing in them. Felix, could you give me a hand with this TV? It's got me stumped like a French math. Dad, you ever feel like the world has forgotten about us? Talk while you work. How do you mean? Work goes on all over the city, repairing the damage from the MadBomb, making things better. When's our turn? Nah, I don't think we've been forgotten. It just takes some people longer to remember. But you can't ignore other people's problems forever, son, because sooner or later, they become yours. Keep working. I'll get us some sandwiches. The MadBomb, Jerome's death, the destruction, somehow, I could take it all because I imagined somebody would come for us. I managed to keep it all together until... And he turns on the TV, and we see Cap addressing the camera. And that closes the MadBomb file. The nation stands. And Felix has a fit. The nation stands? Does it look like we're standing? That was the moment I knew for sure, that no matter what they told us, no matter what we told ourselves, We'd been abandoned. And he throws the TV down and smashes it.
Wow. Now I love the way that they've linked in that last panel from the last issue of the MadBomb story where Cap kind of closes up and says the nation stands, right? And I remember when we read that, it was a very like, woo, all right, thank goodness, the situation's been resolved, but Felix is reading that in an entirely different way.
Yeah. I got a question for you, Bob.
Yeah.
At what point during the MadBomb story did Captain America's shield have 4 rings?
Oh yeah. I think it's the distortion of television.
Okay. Well, then let's go back to that double-page splash in the very beginning of the story.
Okay.
Why does Cap have 4 rings there, Bob?
Oh my goodness. You get more for your money.
And then other places he has 3 rings.
Yeah.
Come on, Ramón. I'm not even going to blame that on the colorist. There's distinctly 4 different rings here.
We got to get Ramón on the show.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't know what he's walking into.
Nope. All right. So next page is a full page splash of the underground laboratory for A.I.M. But Bob, this doesn't look like any underground laboratory I've seen before.
Yeah, it's huge, right? I mean, it's many, many stories. It's like a skyscraper, but underground with monorails and skyscrapers and all sorts of nifty things. I love catwalks.
You didn't get the monorail reference, did you?
I didn't.
No, not a Simpsons fan.
No, I haven't watched Simpsons in a very long time.
Okay, I haven't either, but that was like one of the earlier seasons.
Was it? Yeah, monorails.
Monorail. They do a musical about the monorail. Like they get convinced to, instead of spending their money on something that the community spend money on something reasonable, they all get convinced by a singing salesman that they need a monorail.
A monorail,
city.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that does sounds like a 70. What's that musical with 76 trombones?
Oh, you're asking the right guy.
Yeah. Good point. All right. Yeah. Moving on.
So yeah, and we've got Mr. Brain something. What's his name?
Bainbridge.
Bainbridge or Brainbridge?
I believe it's Bainbridge. Harold Bainbridge.
Harold. We'll just call him Harry.
Yeah.
So Harry is there with Felix in a little golf cart. And Harry's driving, of course. And we see Felix. He is in a yellow hive outfit, but he doesn't have the beehive helmet. So glad you decided to join. Whoa. And you won't be sorry. We're building the future at A.I.M. We are, after all, the world's 5th largest research organization. How come your laboratory's underground? We're in Midtown Manhattan. Do you have any idea what the rent is like up there? Everything he told me in his recruitment pitch appeared to be true. He might have been a bad guy, but at least he wasn't a liar. And he introduces Felix to a couple of guys wearing beehives. This is Felix Waterhouse. Let's ease him in slowly, have him work on the surveillance equipment. Show him how we do things the A.I.M. way. Just pitch in, Felix. You'll learn. Maybe for once, things would work out. Welcome aboard, kid. Any questions? Yeah, if you need helmets, shouldn't I have one? You gotta earn it, kid. Harold was right. The work was challenging and rewarding. I never thought I'd make this kind of money, get this kind of respect. It made me wonder, is this what other people call life? And we see him working. See, this will increase the range and up the granularity of your sonic detectors. Not bad hack. Good night, Felix. All the levels at A.I.M. were color-coded. As a trainee, I was relegated to working on the lower levels, the yellow levels, repairs and maintenance mostly. But I could tell the lab was working on something big, There is electricity in the air, sometimes literally. The upper levels, the red levels, were strictly off limits to recruits. But the closer a deadline looms, the less the rules matter. Hey, new guy, I hear you're good with network control architecture. Get up here and lend us a hand. Our wave amp keeps shorting out, so we can't complete the tests. You've got fresh eyes. Take a look at it. And that's when I saw it. What does he see, Bob?
Oh my God. It looks like a Big Daddy MadBomb, Rick.
It is a Big Daddy MadBomb. It is huge. That's enough to wipe out the country.
That is it. That's the size.
A MadBomb? What's that kid doing up here? Get him out! So then we cut to the next page, and we see Harry sitting with Felix at like looks like a lunchroom table, right?
Yeah.
Cafeteria.
The canteen, the A.I.M canteen. I love that word.
Did you call it a canteen when you were in the military?
We didn't, but I've been to places like I did like a little short tour over to Denmark to visit their military, and they had a canteen. And I always like that word. Some of the other places I've been in the world, they use the word canteen instead of like cafeteria.
Yeah, but
more fun.
But in the military, what did you carry?
That's
your
a mess
water in?
hall.
No, in the military, what'd you carry your water in?
We carried it in a canteen, which is why.
Well, there you go. I just asked you that.
Oh, I thought you asked me if we called our like cafeterias, eating facilities canteen.
So you had a canteen.
Oh, of course I carried a canteen. Yeah.
Were you like canteen boy?
Canteen boy? Was that like water boy?
Yeah, very much from Saturday Night Live. It was Adam Sandler.
Oh, right.
Canteen boy.
Yeah, canteen boy. Mine did not have the plaid upholstered sides, so that was a fancy canteen.
So Harry, after seeing that Felix now knows about the MadBomb, wanted to have a heart-to-heart with him. Look, kid, every lab has a weapons division. You think Cordco isn't working on a MadBomb? Hammer Industries? Stark? This is business. You keep up or you die. You understand, don't you? I suppose. I tried to go back to work because I knew about the MadBomb. They gave me access to the red areas, which came with a raise. And what he said made sense in the way that robbing the corpse of a complete stranger made sense. There. I think you should get your amplifiers to stop glitching now. So I did the worst thing I've ever done. I went along. See? What'd I tell you? The kid's a genius. Signal's green all the way through. You can detonate at will. And it's the MadBomb. And it's humming.
Fully functional now.
Family dinners had gotten quiet after Jerome died. And knowing what I was helping to create at A.I.M, there was even less to say. Mom? What is it, Felix? I just wanted to say, we don't have to feel ashamed about Jerome. That it's not your fault. And Mom's carrying in dishes and starts washing them. I know it's not, but I feel ashamed anyway. But you had nothing to do with the MadBomb. What are you ashamed for? Because I let them get inside me. We are shamed, not by our guilt, but by our weakness. If I was being honest, I had let them get inside me too. And I knew what I had to do to get them out. While fine-tuning the MadBomb's amplifiers, I made a few modifications of my own. The plan was simple. Come in late at night when nobody was around and overload the amplifiers so they would create a localized feedback pulse, fry all the electronics in the lab, including the MadBomb. The plan was simple. too simple. And as he's walking in late at night, he goes up to that level and opens up the elevator door. And who's there, Bob?
It's Harry again, Harry Bainbridge, but he's accompanied by a couple, looks like murder bots.
Hello, Felix. We've been electronically tracking your security badge ever since you discovered the MadBomb, Felix. Your suspicions were correct, sir. He appears to have rigged the bomb so instead of detonating, it would create a feedback pulse. Excellent work as always, Felix. It's a shame. We could have really used your help fixing this. But, and this is not my preferred way to end an internship, we now have to kill you. Any last... And the murder bots aim their weapons at him. But in technology, nothing's ever simple. We have to build in redundancies. Plan for unseen contingencies. And he reaches into his pocket and pulls out that clicker that we saw before.
Right.
What is that? And he clicks the button and be open to unorthodox solutions. And what happens, Bob?
Boom, boom, boom. The MadBomb explodes.
The pulse was just supposed to take out the A.I.M lab, but I guess I had made the amps too strong. Still, what happened in the A.I.M laboratory might have gone unnoticed by the outside world if it hadn't hit the lives of people impossible to ignore. And who's coming in to the rescue?
Oh my gosh, look who it is. It's Captain America, Iron Man, and the Falcon.
What in the... What was that? Some sort of power outage? You all right, Iron Man? And he does. Iron Man loses power and he just lands very, very awkwardly with his head down on the ground and his butt up in the air. Fine, fine. Don't I look fine? Actually, I'm just going to lie here for a minute and reboot. Lights are still on top of the buildings, so whatever caused this. Thanks for your concern, Cap. Truly touching. It must have come from below. Tracking out the source of the pulse now. And they do. They go into the underground A.I.M laboratory, and they crash through a glass window.
Crash!
You know, Bob, it's almost like the equivalent. This is like the underground equivalent to a skylight.
It is, yeah. That's very perceptive. Yes, it is.
And they look like they have a tank there, but it's useless. Everything's fried. Well, not everything. And Iron Man fires his repulsor rays. Find the source. And Falcon does. Up here. A MadBomb. Again? And Cap crashes in and knocking down people, and Iron Man's firing his repulsor rays, and Falcon's flying in and hitting people. Wait, if they're wearing helmets, don't I need one? And we see Harry is now captured, and Cap goes over to help a knocked down Felix back up on his feet. And you are? I'm the one who destroyed the MadBomb. Yeah, we kind of gathered that from the fact that they were about to kill you. So how'd you do it? I reconfigured the MadBomb's wave amplifier to feed back on itself. In essence, I pointed a megaphone into a megaphone. Pretty smart. Good job, kid. The name's Felix. Felix Waterhouse. The next page takes place a few days later. And Felix is on top of, I guess, maybe his tenant building?
Yeah.
And a helicopter with the name Stark on the side comes down on top of the building. And we see Tony Stark in his business suit and Captain America in full uniform coming out of the helicopter. Felix Waterhouse. Captain, Mr. Stark, what can I do for you? Well, for starters, You can work for me at Stark Industries. We're building the future over there. Seems like I've heard that one before. With all due respect, Mr. Stark, maybe that's the problem. Everybody wants to build the future. Nobody gives a damn about building the present. Up here, we congratulate anyone who gets out of the projects, not for their success, but simply for leaving. And I've been here all my life. I've never seen any of you up here. So no offense, but you don't seem any more concerned about us than A.I.M was. Maybe you're right. I suppose it's easy to only view it as a crisis when bad things happen to people who aren't used to it. And for that, I'm sorry. And then we see Felix back in his dad's shop doing some soldering. The thing about repairing electronics is they keep breaking. Your work's never done. But everything you fix improves someone's life, gives them something they wouldn't otherwise have. The world is, I suppose, too big to fix all at once. So maybe it's okay to fix one broken thing at a time. And we see a construction site going on right outside of that tenement building he was standing on before. And construction crews are there, and who's helping out?
Yeah, it's Cap and Falcon.
And Falcon's wearing a helmet.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
And he yells at Cap, "Live with them knees, turkey." And then Cap goes and he sits on one of the girders next to Felix. We never meant to abandon anyone, you know. I know. It's just that, well, I'm really good at hitting things. I get that. We all try to do what we're best at. So you look for problems you can solve by beating up aliens or sea monsters or whatever. I haven't punched out a sea monster in weeks. But you're right. We're supposed to be heroes. Sometimes we forget what that means. It's not just about saving the world. It never has been. Sometimes we forget that a broken world doesn't need heroes so much as it needs repairmen. The end.
The end.
All right, Bob.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
That
Not
is
a lot
a
of
great
Cap.
story.
Not a lot of Cap.
Yeah.
But I love the story. I did like the story.
It has a great message, and it just builds to that crescendo at the end, and with that final Cap scene. And I think it's a powerful message, right? I mean,
It is. Yeah.
that like sometimes things seem so big, so difficult, so impossible to fix, but you don't have to fix everything, right? You can start by just fixing the small things,
Right.
right? And
And
I love
like
that final line.
Yeah.
So
Need a repairman. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's day by day. Sometimes it's hour by hour. It's minute by minute. And when you don't know where to start, sometimes it's just all it is find something and
Yeah.
work on that and do the next thing right.
right. So there's a lot to like about this story, I
Mhm.
think, and I it really was, I thought, brilliant to ground it in the MadBomb story, sort of one of those those stories between the issues, that we've talked about before, but it shows the experience of somebody who's dealing with this while Cap and Falcon are off trying to to solve the whole big issue.
Mhm.
Just somebody trying to like get through this with their family.
Yeah.
So beautiful
Yeah.
story.
It was a good story. I actually go first on favorite panel. So I'm actually going to go back to the one we were just talking about, and that is my favorite panel is when Cap and Falcon are helping with construction, and Falcon is wearing the goofiest hard hat I've ever seen. It looks almost like the kind like a farmer in Malaysia would
Yeah,
be
that's what I
wearing,
was thinking too. I'm like, why is
right?
he wearing one of those? And I have some of those here in my home.
Do you really? That's
Yeah,
funny.
you know, that I brought back. So I'm like,
Uh,
what's he keeping
yeah,
the
that's what it
sun?
looks like he's wearing. But
Yeah.
also he goes, "Lift with them knees, turkey." That it brought a smile to my face. That's
I
my
know.
favorite panel.
He's like far off standing on a girder, you know, yelling
Yeah,
at the cap.
and he
It's
doesn't even
great.
have his wings on. He's
Yeah.
high up. He could fall. Doesn't have his wings showing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah,
It's great. Yeah.
yeah. How about you? What's your favorite panel?
You know, it's several pages before that, but it's that full page splash of the MadBomb exploding.
Mm.
You know, it's we only get a few full page splashes in this issue, but that's a great one just because it's very stylistic and there's depth to it, and you can see the waves of energy emanating from the bomb,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hitting the people around it, and distorting how they appear to the reader. It's just a really nicely done, and the coloring is just very beautiful, I think, in that panel. So I'm going to go with that page.
I like that. I like that choice. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't do a good job describing it at the time. So thank you for doing that because it definitely deserves it. All right, Bob, what's going on your t-shirt?
Well, you know, I got to go with the cover, Rick.
Damn it. Oh, that's mine.
Oh, I know. Come on. That is just a fantastic, rendering of Cap. And I can't believe it's not out there. You know,
I know.
You know, the licensing
I would
is
love to have
probably
the
too
original art
expensive,
on
but
this.
it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's been, where have I seen? I've seen this before someplace. It's the same. Well, it's not the same image, obviously, but it's the same Cap that was. You know, he uses a particular model for
Mhm.
his renderings of Cap, and of course there's the
And Superman, I think.
and Superman, right? It's
Yeah.
in, you know, the timeless variants where they had all of the
Mhm.
heroes and then they did all the villains. Has a very similar rendering of Cap. But it's the same guy, you know, and it's very, and there's the statues too, the busts, the Alex Ross Captain America
Yeah,
busts.
yeah. All
Same
right.
guy.
Let's not talk about other Alex Ross stuff because you already stole this one from me.
All right, fair enough, fair enough.
All
So
right.
what's your plan B?
My plan B. My plan B is on page, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's when it's a close up of Cap with brain waves going through him. He's drooling at the mouth. His eyes are bugging,
I
and he
know
goes,
exactly
"It's
which one.
affecting my mind."
Yeah.
I'm putting that
That would be cool,
big on my
actually.
t-shirt.
Yeah, yeah. It's a conversation starter.
100%.
You know, I was really looking for you know, a great panel with AIM agents, because you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why aren't there any more? You know, I've got a Hydra Bob t-shirt. I'm like, I don't have any AIM agent t-shirts. I'm like, I feel like, you know, that's a missed opportunity for somebody. But
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what about your time capsule, Rick?
My time capsule is going to be right around when right before that, when he Felix on the first page he was talking with the old lady
Uh-huh.
and about the remote.
Ooh, the
and
remote, the
and it's
clicker.
like, yeah, it's a wireless remote control. So hey man, that's remember when those were new?
Yeah.
Some of our listeners don't.
Yeah. I know, right? Now you're
Yeah.
just talking to the dang thing.
Yeah, exactly. But
Right.
yeah. But yeah, so to me, I don't know, it's time capsule worthy. How about you?
Yeah, well, I'm going with the fact that this issue is the first appearance of Felix Waterhouse. Now I know he's you know, he's an interesting character here, and he's
Not
never
just
been
the first
used.
appearance; he's the only appearance.
Well, the only appearance, right? But I think that's a mistake, Rick. I think this is an interesting kid with some interesting potential, and I hope we get to see him again, because, you know, not only is he smart, but he's got an ethical core, and he's got some experience having been with AIM. You know, been on the inside, and come out on the other side with his ethics intact. So I would love to see this character used again in some capacity. So I'm going to put that marker out there.
I think it's a good idea. I like that. Might even be in a future Captain America comic book fantasy draft.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, Bob. any final words before we call this an episode?
Just be a repairman, Rick.
I like that. I think we all should take that away from this particular episode. And come back next episode. We have a special guest. And I know you're like, wait a minute. If I follow next Wednesday is not the first Wednesday of the month. It's the last Wednesday of July. Why are we it's a special guest with a special comic coming out. So we actually are making 1 week early. We're gonna have this guest on. Should I mention who it's gonna be, Bob?
Why not?
Coming back to the show after 5+ years, beloved writer J.M. DeMatteis.
Amazing. What amazing opportunity to get a second bite at that apple.
I know. And if you haven't listened to that episode, make sure you go to episode 13, which came out in February of 2021. We talk with JM about his entire run of Captain America stories, and it was fantastic. And he also talks about how he had a different ending for issue 300, which was the death of the Red Skull. He had a different ending, which involved the death of Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
So we get into all that, and so make sure you listen to that, and then come back next week as we have whole new questions lined up for him.
Excellent. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait.
Yep. All right. For Bob Lucius, I'm Rick Verbanis, and you have been listening to another episode of the Captain America Comic Book Fans Podcast.